2, 1.
Russos brand family. We are family.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of AlternaTV. Like I said before, we're going to be doing some changes to the show, doing some different things, bringing guests on. And today is the first of that as we do a watch-along of the very first episode of Trailer Park Boys with special guest today, Larry EGNER. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you? Am I the very first guest? The very first?
For AlternaTV, I've done it with Hambone before, but he's got his own show now. He doesn't really have the time to be able to do it anymore. So,
oh yeah,
we want to pick it up again, but kind of been in a bit of a mental valley. Been having a hard time doing it, but hey, it's time.
Yeah, Hambone's a big star now, so he's way up there now in the podcasting world.
And you can check him out on the freaking Hambo show at Joe Feeney's Creative Control Network.
I did a show with him a couple weeks ago. Hopefully it'll be on pretty soon. I mean, he does a really good job with this podcast. So we had a good time. We actually talked for almost 2 hours. So it was a good show. Hopefully, it comes out pretty soon. He said it should be out in a couple weeks. So
cool. So yeah, so the show we're gonna be doing Trailer Park Boys, and I don't know if you've heard. So I'm sure you're aware the new season coming out this Sunday is going to be animated.
Now that starts Sunday already?
Starts this Sunday.
Yeah, I heard about it. I heard it's like a continuance from the finale that they had, and at the end they were doing shrooms and stuff, and then it goes into the animated world. Is that right?
Basically this season is the reason why it's animated is that's basically their mushroom trip. This season is us watching their mushroom trip. Like we're seeing, they're aware they're tripping on shrooms. They're like, okay, everything's animated to us, but the real world, physics still apply. Nothing's really changed. We just see everything as a cartoon. Now we're just tripping really hard on mushrooms.
Unreal.
And in the preview, they had Leahy get carried off by a shithawk, which is actually a pretty creative way to, write him out for most of the season.
Do you think they'll ever do the live, another season with the live actors, considering that Leahy is not around, the DJs, so many people are missing.
I think they will, because they're actually currently writing season 14 at the moment.
Oh, okay. That'd be great.
Because the way Mike Smith Bubbles had put it on Twitter, he was basically saying this, specific installment of the chronology will be animated.
Uh-huh.
And they might continue to do, more animated stuff later.
Good. Yeah, I don't want them to stop making those. I just want to continue forever,
And how cool would it be though, if they drop, once the season ends with them coming out of their acid trip, and then it's like a radically different world that they weren't expecting.
That would be great.
Leahy's, passed away, and they, pay tribute, do the right way to pay tribute to him. And I'd love to see a reformed Trevor come back, and he's not an idiot anymore. He's intelligent. He's vindictive, and he's basically wanting to go after the boys.
Oh, that'd be a great idea. Yeah, right. Just totally change up the characters and their personalities, and yeah, that'd be interesting.
And then Corey's, of course, being torn by it.
Oh yeah, Corey. And then how would you make Ricky? Would you keep Ricky the same, the main character?
Oh, of course, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't change that.
It'd be kind of an interesting dynamic too. I think they're actually going to start. I know they're doing some spin-off stuff for SwearNext. They built in the SwearNext Studios. They built a prison set.
Oh, did they?
Yep, because they're planning on shooting stuff of the boys in jail. Which that would be a pretty creative. That'd be a pretty creative idea for a season, is actually see them in prison.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Yeah, if they just did it in their day-to-day life in prison.
See them try to come up with different kinds of schemes in there to make money and get dope and liquor.
That would be sweet. Yeah, that would be good. But I'm just wondering, it's going to be interesting. to see what they're going to do after the animated. Well, the animated, now how many episodes did they plan for the animated series?
I think I heard it was, I know it's at least 10.
Okay.
And it looks like Cyrus is back too. He probably might be the main villain in this one. He's been gone since season 9.
Yeah. Oh, great. Cyrus is back.
I was kind of disappointed because I thought he wasn't going to be back, because he actually had a falling out with the boys. Him and Mike Smith got into it on Twitter a couple years ago.
Yeah,
apparently there's some
people fall out, they fall back in, it change, you know.
Well, and then too, like when they were having that blow up on Twitter, it was like literally the next day was when Dunsworth passed away.
Oh.
So it's like, shit, this doesn't really work, you know.
Right.
And then the actor who plays Cyrus ended up getting diagnosed with prostate cancer. So they're probably just like, okay, this, you know, we got hit twice with 2 doses of reality. You know, this dumb crap ain't worth it. You know, let's put this behind us.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened. I'm sure.
And he has since beaten the cancer.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what happened. They're like, you know what, let's just get over it, move on, and keep going with this, you know.
And I think I was reading one thing on Reddit. There's a dude on Reddit who's claiming to be part of the animating staff, and said that that this would be a way for them to bring the Phil Collins character back because his actor passed away.
Phil Collins.
Man, I miss that dude.
Oh yeah, when did he pass away?
He died during the filming of the 3rd movie.
Okay.
Because like it was in production when he had passed. Like they shot, like he was in it for a little bit, and then I think so. I think the movie was dedicated to his memory as well as that of Rita McNeil and I forgot the guy's name, but the guy who played Shitty Bill.
Oh yeah, okay. Shitty Bill, he was the one that did he work at the junkyard, right?
No, he was
he
was a guy who he was a scrap metal guy, collected scrap metal that Bubbles knew through carts, and he was the one who basically he actually sold the cigarettes for the boys from the Sweezy Express.
Right. Yes. Right.
All right.
All right.
You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All right. We'll hit play at 0, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Am I too loud?
I think I can't hear yours. I think I'm hearing mine.
Okay.
Now this scene here, do you know what this scene is originally from? This black and white one.
Was it like a documentary originally?
It was originally like an hour-long black and white movie that was much different than the original series. Like Ricky wasn't. I mean, he was still dumb, but nowhere near as dumb as he is in the main show. And Ricky and Julian are actually pet assassins. And that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to kill that dog that guy's holding. Because like, and it basically explains how they ended up in jail the first time.
Okay.
But yeah, that black and white movie is like really different. Like when you see that movie, you see how those characters are. It'd be like impossible to imagine how Bubbles could be friends with those characters.
Well, yeah, Bubbles. Well, as you'll see in this episode coming up, his voice and the way his mannerisms are totally different. It just evolves over the years, you know.
Yep. Well, it's because he wasn't originally supposed to be part of the, like the main trio. He was more like started doing the character on set and impressing people, and they thought, oh, hey, this is cool. Let's put it in the show, and it eventually just got over and grew.
Right. Look how young they look.
Man, it's so weird. So what was it? Julian was, or JP was like 31, 32. And Ricky was about, I want to say 29.
God. Yeah, they look so young. Now, Ricky, that Pat Roach, they're friends. They were friends off set too. I mean, they've grown up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. In fact, Pat Roach was in the original black and white movie. He was the guy who, like that scene that we just saw, the guy who holding the dog, that was him.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he played the owner of that dog because how that situation went was he basically let his dog just run free wherever. He'd poop and piss in people's yards, destroy their property, and so basically a bunch of neighbors got together to pay Ricky and Julian to go kill that dog.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things they dropped completely when they switched to a TV show is the whole pet assassin story.
Yeah, right. They don't say anything about it.
And in that movie too, that's where you hear the origins of Ravine, why Ricky hates being called that.
You know what's cool about this whole show is how stupid they act, but they're such good actors. You know what I mean? They just come up with this stuff, and they're just so good at it.
Oh
with the
yeah,
comedy.
like you see Ricky out of character. The dude's actually really freaking intelligent and
Right.
he can articulate really well.
It's unbelievable.
Like he was the big surprise for me is Rob. Like how good of an act. Like you knew that Mike Smith Bubbles was a talented actor and just when it comes to that kind of thing, Ricky was a big surprise of how good he was or how good he is.
Now,
Did you ever watch the Drunken on Drugs Happy Fun Time Hour?
I'm not sure that the type. I've just watched a bunch of some of the live ones and some of the movies and specials. I just don't remember all the titles.
It was that was show that's actually like we only went for 6 episodes. It's something that they did in between the Trailer Park Boys runs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was basically like it's a show about them trying to put on a variety show or a kids variety show, but everybody gets hooked on these hallucinogens and believes they're the characters they're playing.
No, I have not seen. Is it on Netflix too?
Yep, it's insane. Like I would actually if you're gonna do it, I would recommend lots of drugs before watching it.
Well, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
Like I'll put it this way, it made way more sense on acid.
Look at Ricky beating up the little kid.
Trying to get.
I was trying to get cigarettes.
Funny thing is, I think the entire cast actually quit smoking a while back.
Did they?
Yep, I know. I think Ricky said he quit like in 2007. Like right around when the original run ended.
Boy, look how thin. Well, look at Randy, how thin he is compared to. Wow,
Trinity's Godzilla hasn't really emerged yet.
Yeah, right.
And that's another storyline they kind of dropped too, is the Julian potentially being Trinity's dad instead of Ricky.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Wow, look at Randy.
And it's so weird seeing Leahy with a mustache.
How about what about him as an actor, man? He is unbelievable.
Oh, dude.
He is great.
He was amazing.
Well, he was a trained actor anyway, right?
Yep. In fact, he was actually the one who taught Cyrus how to act.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Here's Corey and Trevor.
So, yeah, and they're doing resin hot.
Look at what an idiot. He's just heating up the knives and then what?
It's a method of smoke. Basically what it is like you basically heat the knives up to where it's like red hot, then you pick it up and it vaporizes it and you just inhale the smoke.
Unbelievable. I like how they drink stuff out like a 2-liter bottle cut in half. That's unbelievable. Oh.
And the one thing I've noticed, like in the later seasons when that are exclusive to Netflix or the ones that came out after they went to Netflix, the best ones have always been directed by Corey.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did some, right?
Yep.
Oh, there's Cyrus.
Yeah, he's one of the few actors who actually wasn't born and raised in Canada. I think he's from Boston, which explains the New England accent.
Right. Boy, they trash that place. Look at them eating just bread sandwiches. Just two people. So everybody's afraid of Cyrus.
Yep. Except Julian.
Oh, yeah. It's cool living in a trailer park.
And you notice that Leahy and Randy really didn't become like an issue with the boys until like season 3
Yeah, you're right.
or the end of season 2. Like they were more like just like a minor annoyance, kind of bugging them in the first couple seasons. Then after that's when they really started going after them.
Yeah, they wanted them out, and then they just really go along with them early.
Yeah, it's more like just, hey, stop doing that. Hey, don't do that. Hey,
Right.
Stop it. And they're just pretty much like F off and go about and do their business.
Oh boy, here it goes.
It's Cyrus.
What a geek.
Gay Fonzie.
Yeah. So are we pretty close to the same spot then, huh?
Yeah. Man, what I loved about J-Rock though is that he pretty much stayed the same throughout his entire time there, but he'd make small little adjustments to the character each season to keep it fresh.
Yeah. That was a big miss when he left, because I really liked that character a lot.
Like I thought he was really coming into his own like those last few seasons.
Now he's still, I think it's the last season of a series called Mr. D. It's a Canadian TV show. And he plays the vice principal at a school, the assistant principal. It's been on forever. And I think this year's the last season. It's on Netflix too. It's called Mr. D. He's really good in that too.
Nice.
Yeah.
And one show,
it's called Mr. D.
One show I want to check out is called Letterkenny, because like several people, like cast members of Trailer Park Boys, have been putting it over, saying this is like the show that we're passing the torch to.
I never heard of that.
In fact, J-Rock guest starred an episode of it once, like an Amish dude.
Yeah, he's another guy that's a good actor.
Yep.
This is where he tells everybody no one came to visit him for a whole year.
Yep.
He doesn't know how old his daughter is.
I saw some clips on YouTube of them doing like readings of some of the scenes like from the other seasons, and Mike Clattenburg actually like does the Bubbles parts, which is kind of funny.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah. There's that one scene from the episode "Dope Trailer's No Place for a Kitty." Or no, not that one. The one afterward, the Bible Pip episode, where they're doing the scene where what's his nuts, where Julian brings pickled eggs to Bubbles, and they have that chat, and Clattenburg is doing the role of Bubbles, which is kind of funny to see. Always off.
Yeah. Look at his face.
One of my favorite Cyrus scenes right there.
Take care of Cyrus, but I think good. Anything I should do with it? Well, I'll tell you right now. I talked to him already a couple times. He's fucking kidding. He's waiting for coming home. Yeah. Yep. So all I got to do is tell him you're here, and I bet you need fucking both. I don't know if it's gonna be that easy, but
yeah, look at Bubba just mumbling and kind of quiet and just. Facials, not much not much body movement or anything, just real quiet.
Yeah, very reserved for compared to how he comes later.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the gimmick how he always has the same music every time he's driving.
Here he goes. Here goes. There's the gun out.
And funny thing is, there's some of the cast members don't even touch cigarettes. Like Cyrus doesn't smoke because he's an athlete, and Lucy actually hates them, which is why she always looks so awkward holding one.
Now, are you at the spot where Cyrus puts a gun in his stomach?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because there was a long pause in between scenes, and I didn't know if about a couple minutes back.
Yeah, he's leaving Ricky now. He's getting into his car.
Yeah. Yeah, Julian doesn't want Ricky around anymore, right? Because it's bad influence.
Yep.
Oh, here's Sarah. Look how young she looks.
Yeah.
Nobody's at the door. Lucy, it's Ricky. Can I talk to you for a minute, please?
Isn't that Dunsworth's daughter in real?
Yep.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh boy. So Ricky wants to stay in their trailer.
Yep.
That's not it.
Oh yeah, because that's one thing that's kind of weird that they kind of didn't carry over from the movie is that in the movie Ricky and Lucy live in the suburbs.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Of course, it could be believed that with Ricky in jail that she had to move back to the park and get a trailer with Sarah. Which would leave Ricky without a place to stay, which actually does make sense. They just don't explain it.
Right, they don't. And I can't believe how sober he is still.
Yeah, like it actually his alcoholism kind of degenerates throughout the series. Like the first season is kind of like alluded, you don't see him, but it's alluded to, and then the second season he has that big fall off at the beginning, and then just kind of drinks occasionally throughout it, and then season 3 is when it really gets bad.
Right.
Like that one episode where he starts thinking he's an actual cop in the Sunnyvales of town.
Yeah. Do they explain why Randy has his shirt off all the time?
Yeah, it's because I'm actually I'm surprised they kept that going this long, but it's because he gets a rash. Because if any cloth or material touches him from the waist up, it gives him a rash.
Yeah, but they didn't really say why, yet so far. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you see him with the shirt off all the time. It's that came later where they explained how he's allergic to wearing shirts.
It actually was in season 4 when that happened, because when he had that
yeah.
It was in the Green Bastard episode. Because what was it? Because Leahy wanted him to wear a shirt, for the award presentation, and then when he's in the ring without his shirt on, you can see the rash. So they've had that actually, that storyline sitting and waiting to go for since as far back as then.
Yeah, right. I knew it was a while before they explained what happened with that.
Yeah, but they actually had the rash thing as far back as season 4. And then in season 11, when he tries to be a cop, he wears a trash bag under it.
Yeah. Look at the garbage all over. Here he comes.
Kiss my hand.
Yeah, kiss my hand. Oh, God. I do like that Corvette, though. It's
Oh,
nice.
that's a nice car.
Uh-huh.
And so you know that Ellen Page was actually supposed to be in this first season, and they shot stuff with her, but they opted not to use it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did not hear about that.
Yep. There's one clip of her like walking and talking with Ricky.
Ricky still got the same clothes on. You notice that shirt?
Yep.
And I think as time goes, he still wears it, and it gets dirtier. And here comes Cyrus pulling it, and the whole neighborhood's out. Is that where you're at too, Brandon?
Yep.
Out?
Yeah, I'm at the part where all the people are grabbing all Cyrus's stuff that Julian threw out the window.
Oh, big.
Obviously, you didn't hear me when I said clear out your own shit. I want a new TV. I want you out of this car. I provide service for these people. They're like my family. Tell them, people. Go on. Show hands.
You see that big, large dude in the sunglasses back there? That's Phil Collins.
I'd like to take this opportunity to let anybody know that me and Tyrone's open for business. We service all you don't need.
I don't. Wait, let me see. Yep, you're right. That is. I think I'm a little bit behind you. Yeah, it is. How about back to the left, the black shirt? Is that the caveman?
No, that's Phil Collins. Yeah, Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Sam was in the black and white movie too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was one of the customers as he was paying the boys to kill some animal. Yeah, like for the first couple seasons, more Randy and Leahy are more like pests than they are like actual villains.
With J Rock with the King.
Oh no, I think we had a pretty good day today, guys. I'm having a few drinks, sit down, turn that thing off. And also I gear up the TV show. I got nowhere to go, Julian. Me and Mr. are all down here, and my dad's drunk. I just wanted my Canadian secret Paris. And I got nowhere to go.
He pulls the shades down.
Past 18 months, I promised myself to stay away from him. I don't know.
He's got one of Bubbles' cats.
Take it easy, John. I'm leaving. Relax, I don't want to go. Relax. Here. Maybe some hot dogs.
I used the part where they give him hot dogs.
Yep, uncooked hot dogs.
Ricky, it's okay. All right? Yeah. we'd be sitting in the car for 2 days. Once you're in that car for 2 days, it'll be all right.
Now that was Julian's grandmother's car, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And that's it.
That was a good first episode for the series.
Oh, absolutely.
Introduces the characters, kind of gives you an idea of what's going on.
Right. You know, for a long time, I saw Trailer Park Boys like advertisements on Netflix and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this looks stupid. I don't know. And I started watching it, and then it was just like, I was hooked after the first one.
I was trying to get Vince to watch it for the longest time, so I'm like, this is right up his alley. Like, he got over-the-top characters with ridiculous gimmicks, and
I remember when you were doing that. I remember that.
And then, like, eventually, I think he said it was Katina that got him to watch it because he had originally thought it was like, you know, white trailer trash. You know, that's what, because when he heard the name, that's what he was thinking. He's like, oh, this is not bad at all.
But did he stick with it or no?
I don't know. I know he watched the first episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he stuck with it, but he hasn't talked about it. But yeah, I love it.
All right, so that does it for another episode of AlternaTV. We did a watch along of the first episode of Trailer Park Boys. What'd you think of that episode?
I love it. I love the first episode, and like I said, as soon as that was done, I just put on the second one and the third one, and I just love the characters. It's hilarious. I mean, I think it's a great show, and I can't wait for the animated series to come out. I can't wait to see what they do once the live one, you know, where their live episodes come out. But it'll be interesting. But yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, I mean,
I tell everybody about it.
Yeah, people are crapping on, you know, the animated series, but like I'd say this much: I laughed at the trailers, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think it looks good. You know, some people they think cartoon and kiddie cartoons. You know, they just have that mindset going into it, you know. But
this is kind of a different thing because there's actually a storyline reason for why it's a cartoon,
right?
And there's logic behind it,
right? So yeah, I can't wait. I didn't realize it was coming up so quick on Sunday. So maybe that's something to review too. You never know.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Yep. It was good seeing you. Anyway, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, man. I don't think we've really had I know we've like chatted back and forth a bit on Twitter before. We never really had like a full on conversation.
Nope. So I had my first one a few weeks ago with what's his name, Hambone, and now you. So yeah, it's been great.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.